Okay, it's playoff time. It's
Yes,
playoff
sir.
time. Oh goodness! So we are back again. First off, we actually weren't here last week. We had some technical difficulties. So y'all just seen this. Yeah, it's been a minute clearly. So welcome back to the show. Glad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and sticking with us. A lot of fun things going into this year. Excited to be back. I'm excited for all things going on in the NFL and NBA and beyond. Great stuff. It's your boy G along with Alec. Excited to be here. Like, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. Like I said, we're going to be here talking about the playoffs, nothing's going on there. Also, continuing to send our well wishes to DAMAR HAMLIN with his situation that continues to improve and all of that. So, fun stuff ahead. Also, we're making our award picks to end the NFL regular season and going on from there. So, good stuff all across the board. I'm very happy to be here. And yeah, another fun episode for the pod, man. Appreciate y'all. Let's get to it. All right. So again, just very happy to be back again. Thank you guys for tuning back into us. And this is, as we said to start, I want to start with the topic that's been on our mind the most of these last couple of weeks since it ensued. To continue to our well wishes to DAMAR HAMLIN. It was very scary situation that went on last week when he went down, and the whole world was on edge, hoping that he was able to fight back. And he seems to be making a good recovery. So yeah, just happy to see that he's continuing to improve. And Alec, any words about the situation?
Yeah, they released an update today that he'd been discharged from the hospital as well. So yeah, it's been good news the last few days. I believe he was live tweeting during the last game as well, and there was an outpouring of love as we predicted there would be from fans, but also from teams and individual players, and honoring him on last NFL Sunday, which was dope to see. The toy drive, as we mentioned, is up over 3 million in donations. Might be even more.
We didn't officially mention it because we weren't here last week officially. So I just wanted to say he had the toy drive that he was just trying to raise $2,500 for the kids in his hometown, I believe Pittsburgh it was, and when he was around was just at that as his goal. Things went as they did, and fans now start finding him worldwide and have all donated from everywhere. Now that's up past 6, 7, I think 8 last time I checked $1 million. So love to see the outpouring that has gone his way, and hope that he is able to give the kids all that he hoped for and more. So yeah, just love to see all that's going on there.
Yeah, but just happy that he's on the road to recovery, and hopefully it's smooth sailing the rest of the way for him.
Absolutely. So yeah, just well wishes back to him, and just glad to see that, and glad to get back to football as well as teams, as you said, back on the field this last week, and had a lot of moments of outpouring for him and support. It was great to see, and glad that that the situation didn't go as badly as it seemed when it first happened. So yeah, glad to continue to move forward, and excited for what's next for him and the Bills and the whole NFL and beyond. So good stuff there. I guess we'll start here though, as we do. We're LA guys. Right now it's a little cold out here. It's been raining and stuff and all of that. And it's been tough times for the Rams. The Rams finished up their season this last weekend, losing to the Seahawks in dramatic fashion, overtime. That thus led to them now finishing 5-12. They somehow weren't last in the division; they're actually third in the division because the Cardinals were worse somehow than them. And we have a top 10 pick, but the top 10 pick is going to the Lions because of the Stafford trade. But yeah, just things that have ended in a sad way for the Rams this season. And on top of that, now we're seeing reports that Sean McVay is running from the grind and may potentially walk away after this season, and various things about this rebuild that we were debating if it even should happen might be even more grand than we expected. So a lot of things going on with the Rams, and starting with McVay. What do you think of him potentially running from the grind and walking away after this season?
It's funny. I mean, I don't know if I'd 100% call it running from the grind, because for some reason these reports were happening last year after the Super Bowl too, and maybe that was a little bit of like him seeing the writing on the wall for the team's potential demise. But also, I feel like the team still kind of had high hopes going into this season with even though they lost Robert Woods and OBJ, like they brought in Allen Robinson, who they thought was going to be a big contributor. They had a healthy Cooper Kupp coming off an all-time great season, coming off a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. There was injury concerns, but I think they still expected to be a playoff team. And I think like if we might have just debated the question after last Super Bowl, like if you had to pick between the Bengals and Rams, who would have a better shot of making it back to the Super Bowl, we probably would have said the Rams initially.
Right.
But it was the exact opposite. No. And I mean, I can understand if it was already a debate for him coming back this year, why maybe he would not want to come back next year, just with the situation, the potential outlook for the next couple years, with the uncertainty there. But I don't know if I'd call it running from the grind, since they did win a Super Bowl too. But yeah, I mean, maybe he just has other aspirations around football that maybe he doesn't want to be a head coach forever, kind of thing.
Well, it seemed like based on his career leading up to this that this was the goal. I mean, he started coaching very young, as was known. Rose up the ranks pretty quickly and got the head coaching job. Was the youngest head coach ever, I believe, when he first was hired with the Rams here. I believe that was. So yeah, just seeing what he was doing. Coaching seemed to be his path. But I think having the success so quick, and then you're in LA, and Amazon calls with a $40 million a year contract and things like that, that might shift you a little bit. So in that regard, I understand it.
Already accomplished the ultimate goal as far as winning it all too. So
yeah, so I guess it's interesting because we always see guys, and I guess because we've seen the dynasties and we've seen the Belichick's and things like that. We say when guys just win one, we think that's just a starting point. Right. For a lot of guys, that's the goal right there. It's not. I'm not trying to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just want one, and then I'll go and do whatever I want next. So he got his one, tried to run it back for his guys because he had Hall of Famers on that team that were trying to come back. Aaron Donald and others. I guess I respect for them and seeing any possibility he came back. But now that he's checked that off, it's like, okay, I can go do whatever I want now. And there's plenty of bags elsewhere for him to grab. So yeah, if he goes elsewhere, then so be it.
And he might not aspire to have the dynasty that like a Belichick had, but he already kind of has like the coaching tree, like under like the guys that have like come from like his staff, even at the college level as well too. Like there's a bunch of talented coaches like in the league that have kind of had the McVay touch as well too. So he's kind of got legacy and then that right even beyond just his own team success.
Yeah, so it seems pretty clear that that's going to be the direction he goes. He's going to end up walking away. He already has given word to the rest of his staff. I thought I saw a report today, I think it was, that said the staff is free to contact any teams, can contact them. If y'all want to go, y'all go ahead and get out now because I'm about to be gone too. So I ain't going to hold you.
Aaron Donald might be gone too. So.
Yeah, he's preparing the whole squad for that rebuild. With that being the case, are there any core pieces that we have right now that you want to see stay around through the rebuild, or should we just knock the whole thing down and just start from scratch?
I mean, it feels like Kupp would be like the main guy that you would want to retain going forward. I don't know. Like I said, I think Aaron Donald potentially. There was rumors of him retiring after the Super Bowl as well. So I don't know if he decides to hang it up or continue to play again next year.
Right.
I think we talked about like him and Ramsey and Wagner earlier on in the season. I'd be open to letting those guys go, just them being older. But and same with Stafford too and his injury concerns. Right. Really the only like I guess centerpiece would be Kupp that I would think that you'd want to hold on to.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, everyone else we've had great moments with them, and we thank them for their service. And it's like, all right, if we're gonna rebuild, I don't think they have enough time left to go through another rebuild to get back to potential title with the process it'll take. So yeah, I think it's going to be a bigger rebuild than we thought, and then we're interested to see how things go going forward. I wrote this question down lastly, and I couldn't even give a name myself, but with the rebuild and seeing that Stafford might be done himself also at the quarterback position, is there a quarterback you'd like to see as a starter next year as we go through this next phase for the Rams?
I'm fine with a bridge guy for now because like we're talking about a potential rebuild. Like I don't think this is a team that's going to be immediately competing for playoffs again next year.
Sure, I guess I'm saying us being here in LA, Next year when the Rams are pop up again for the season and you're going to a game, who you want to see on your center? Are you going to be excited to go see Baker Mayfield play on a Sunday?
Entertainment value?
Yeah.
Entertainment value?
Semi-realistically, at least.
Yeah.
It can be.
In his own right, Baker Mayfield is kind of entertaining. Like, people tuned in to watch because I thought it was going to be a disaster class that first game, and then he turned in like a miracle. So he kind of is box office in a sense, but I don't think he's more than I guess 8-9, 9-8 for the Rams at quarterback. More entertaining guy right now.
This came to mind. Any desire to see the guy who just saw play in SoFi the other day, Stetson Bennett play for the Rams next year?
No, I don't think that would really even be a draw for LA fans either.
No, it just came to mind. Just throw it out there.
No, but yeah, I mean, they don't have like their first round picks, right? Because of the draft they made. So like, I don't think there's a guy really in the draft that would be appealing late. I'm just trying to think of like other guys, potential free agents or guys that just like looking for another opportunity.
I mentioned it before. Any desire for Derek Carr in the building?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't. No.
The Carr era comes to LA.
I'd rather have Baker, honestly. It's the same like level of inconsistency.
I don't think the quarterbacks who have kind of fallen off, Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill,
I mean, like
Jameis,
Jimmy G would be fine.
Mariota.
You know what I said?
Jimmy G play for rings though, so Jimmy G gonna want to be here if we're rebuilding.
Maybe not, but I mean, I could see him in LA as an LA
surely,
guy.
but yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see, but I don't know. Just throwing names out there, but we'll see what happens with this team. Surely gonna be entertaining one way or another. So we'll be tuned in. We are here and love all LA sports. So good stuff on that side. On the other side, there's a team still here in LA, still playing. The Chargers have found their way into the playoffs and secured a good spot. We had many questions about them, and we're cautious about them for most of the year. They worked their way into a great position there in the AFC, fifth in the AFC, playing the JAGS in the first round, which surely going to be a good one. We'll get to that in the quickness at the end. But, what do you think of the Chargers season as it's finished up the regular season, and what are your hopes for the playoffs?
I think, as we kind of discussed earlier in the year, I think getting to the playoffs buys Staley a little bit of time, barring a disaster in this first round playoff game. Like I think if they play decently well, I think his job is safe at this point. But I still have like my concerns about him as the head coach. He's why I kind of question whether they'll win this game or not. Because I do think they have talent on their roster. We see like now that they've gotten healthy, they were able to string together some good performances.
Right.
But I am just a little bit worried about the Chargers and their history of losing close games and coming up short like when it matters most.
Correct.
So I don't really know that this answered a whole lot of questions for me, because I still think while they got healthy, they could very easily get injured again. So
yeah.
I'm kind of at a similar spot with them. Like I'm happy for them making the playoffs, but it didn't really change a whole lot of my perspective on them.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It threw me off too, because my main question was, can this team even get to the playoffs? And then they secured a spot, and I'm still sitting here like, I still don't trust these dudes. So like I'm very much in the same boat with you. And to that point, I'll ask this: you kind of already answered it, but it's just a must-win game for the Chargers this weekend versus the Jags in the playoffs, first round.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I think it needs to be like a one-score game. I'd say must win just for like the narrative around the team always coming up short in games that they need to win. Yeah, in a sense, I think it is a must win for them, and for their like confidence going forward. And also, I think more of a must win for Herbert and him as a quarterback.
That's where I was going to go next. I was going to break it down further and say it's a must win for Staley and Herbert. To your point, I definitely agree that for both of them, not only because of the situation that they're in, but seeing that there's a duo across from them in Peterson and Lawrence, who kind of were compared to them, or Lawrence was kind of compared to Herbert.
Right.
And Lawrence may have even stolen all the hype from Herbert at this point.
He was a better prospect too coming in.
Right. So seeing what that tandem has already done in their short time versus what we've seen for at least a year or two now from Staley and Herbert. Yeah, I think not only because of who of the moment for them individually, but who's across them as well. I think it's a must win, top down for that whole squad. So we'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know what the line is, but I think they should be the slight favorites too in this game.
If I got pulled up again, but if I'm correct, it's also in Jacksonville. So if that being the case, that might sway it towards their way. So who knows? But it sure will be a good game that I'm very excited to tune into. So good stuff there. And the last thing for the Chargers is we've talked with the Rams, we've talked with people, we talked with Jason Jones about it. We talked with a few other folks that we've had on, Jeff Lewis and others, and Corey Kennedy, who came on, who's on the Chargers staff at the times and all of that, about the Rams and their ownership of LA. Can the Chargers, seeing that they're the ones in the playoffs this year, they have the nice young core, at least with Herbert there. Can the Chargers still win over LA and the fans here?
Like I said, LA fans are fickle. Like, you got to win. Just one playoff win wouldn't even be enough too. Like I think they would have to win a Super Bowl to kind of take over as LA's football team because of how fickle they are. I mean, I think the Rams have still maintained some fandom. Because I see upset Rams fans like on social media and that kind of thing.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I don't see nothing.
Really?
Rams win or lose, it's a ghost town either way. So the Rams have games and the other team comes in, it's a home game for the other team. Kind of like I joke about with the Vikings coming in, it's a home game for the other team going in. Same thing in SoFi with the Rams. When teams come in here, they should come in and show out in SoFi. So I guess we have different timelines a little bit, but
you're in the Greg Roman chamber, so
I guess so. But both online and in real life, I don't really I still don't see much of a Rams presence around. So we'll see if either one can truly establish themselves out here.
Yeah, but winning is what cures everything in LA for sure. So
I guess so. So we shall see how that goes. So definitely interesting things going on here in LA with the Chargers and Rams. I'm excited for it all. And then lastly, our last individual team wanted to break down the Ravens. Kind of in the same boat as the Chargers, trying to find their way. I'm still having questions, even though they have a secured playoff spot. Second in the AFC North, sixth in the AFC, and playing the Bengals again on Saturday. So or on Sunday night, excuse me. So we'll see how that goes. It's been a rough stretch without Lamar. They have won a couple of games without him this time around, but they first went to Huntley, and Huntley didn't look good, and Huntley got hurt as well. Now they have Anthony Brown in, and the QB situation has been a mess. They did, though, on a positive note, sign Roquan Smith, who we just got this year, to a long-term deal, which was great because he definitely has been a key piece to that defense. And we're just going to be interested to see how this postseason goes. Do you have any faith in this Ravens squad this year? Going up, I guess, his first game against the Bengals. I
do actually surprisingly have a little bit. If Lamar plays, like that's the only real like last gasp for the Ravens in my opinion. But if Lamar plays, like he's an MVP caliber player. He showed us at the beginning of this season a little bit too. I think because of his dynamicism, like I think it's possible that they could upset a really close to complete Bengals team. Like Bengals are probably my AFC favorite. But that's how much I do have like faith in Lamar to backpack a team. So I think if he plays, he can make it interesting. But I do favor the Bengals in that matchup.
I hear you loud and clear. I would agree with you about his impact, but from within Ravens Twitter, as you just said, that I'm a part of, he's not playing. So he's not playing. So with that being the case, it is what it is. It is what it is. So definitely going to be an interesting thing to see if we can at least put up a good fight. The Bengals already showed last week they don't want to play around with us. They are frustrated about a few things, even beyond us, and let us have it this last week. And now with us poking at them in the process as well. Now there's a beef brewing, I guess, between them. As always goes in the AFC North. So we'll see how that influences play even further with that game. So we'll see for the moment how that goes for that game. Looking beyond that, though, I guess kind of already looking past it. There's already been rumors about teams trying to make moves this offseason. And a name that's floating around right now with the Cardinals being in a rebuild situation, DeAndre Hopkins is looking to be traded this season, this offseason.
Yeah.
Should the Ravens go all in and make sure they get DeAndre? Should the Ravens have him targeted this offseason for Lamar?
Yep. Yes. Like this is the one thing been begging for them to do is go after a proven wide receiver 1 talent. And he showed this year that he still is that, even with the Cardinals' struggles. I think he approached, I don't remember what his final numbers are, but I think he approached 1,000 yards, and he played like
he only played
3/4 of the season.
Yeah, he missed the first 6.
Yeah. So I think they should definitely go all in for it. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I just checked his age. I was gonna be like, oh wait, if he's like 33 or 34 years old, maybe you hesitate about. He just turned 30, so yeah, go ahead and get him, please, please. Yeah, he got some legs left in him. As you said, he's showing already, and just even in shortened time this year, that he still has a lot of game left in him. And he surely will be a great addition to the squad. We haven't had a clear number 1 in years now, so he definitely would be that. And then we can allow Rashad to be in the secondary role, which I think he would blossom more so when we can allow Duvernay to be in the third spot, which he do much better in. So allowing more of those guys to more so fit in the right spot for them. I think that definitely would be a great move for them. So oh yeah, go ahead.
Who was your guys' last wide receiver 1 that you would say? Like, I'm trying to think. Like,
there was Torrey Smith and Steve Smith,
like
back during the Anquan Bolden, but I think after that was Steve Smith, if I'm correct. Torrey Smith was in there and was good at times, and then just a bunch of trial and error. We had Rashad Perryman, we had
that's what I'm saying.
Brown,
like the stamped wide receiver like 1. Who was the last like stamped wide receiver 1?
The last stamped one would be I think Steve Smith was that.
Okay. Yeah.
And before that, Anquan, who got us a ring. So it's been a minute. So so it's time. Instead
of trying to hit in the draft, which you see like it's hard to do, you can have a great scouting department and still not quite hit on that pick. Go after the proven guy.
So we'll see how they do that, but definitely we'll for sure like to see them go get DeAndre after all this. So fun things going on in Baltimore. I guess kind of a fun question I'll throw out there in the same way that I asked for the Rams. If for some reason Lamar refuses to take the contract from the Ravens, the Ravens can't figure things out. They for some reason use a tag somewhere else and can't tag them, so they have to trade Lamar. If Lamar had to be traded, who would you like to see as his replacement in Baltimore?
Lamar's replacement in Baltimore. I guess. I mean,
I've seen folks.
Is the assumption that Greg Roman is gone?
Say that again.
Is the assumption that Greg Roman's gone after this year?
I mean, if you want to take it that literal, I was trying to throw it out there just more on a fun side. But if you want the full breakdown, then sure, Greg Roman's gone. Okay. We have DeAndre now. Who would you want to have as the QB if Lamar for some reason can't get the deal done?
That's a good question. Do you guys have picks too?
Not decent ones. We're a playoff team, so we're further back in the draft. So
that's a good question. Cause I'm trying to think of like who like fits that, like that tweet. Give us some thugs. Like who
that or you can flip it also. Even if you can't think of a replacement, where would you like to see him go? Any scenarios you like to see him go to?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Jets. Because the Jets only pretty much were missing a QB. Like if they had a competent QB, they'd be a playoff team. Who else? That one.
This is a nasty one, but I was looking at the draft order and just again going through the full hypothetical. We can't franchise him. He decides he wants to leave. We're going to trade him and all of that. The Colts have the 4th pick. We traded to Indiana. We don't want to see it, but the Ravens getting the 4th pick. We can draft the quarterback there to build around. Just a fun side of it. I know that wouldn't happen. Just looking at other options like what could have been there. But just I want to throw it out there just for the fun of it. But just definitely a lot of possibility for the Ravens this offseason. I'm excited to see what goes on there, as we said earlier, for all the LA squads. So
Vegas Vegas be interesting.
Vegas will be interesting too. So yeah, there's a lot of options there, but hopefully the future stays bright here in Baltimore with Lamar as our QB. So I'm excited for all to come here, and like I said, for the Rams and Chargers too. So good stuff with all of that. Wrapping up all of that now and moving on to other things. We have our last him zone of the regular season. Week 18 was a fun one. Some good stuff going on there. I'm excited to see who you have this week as your MVP, our final MVP of the season, and then your not MVP and all of that I have to add as well. So we'll start with that. Alec, who you got as your not MVP? Our last Russell Wilson's sponsor, really call it not MVP of Week 18. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, if I was giving an award for who was the not MVP of the year, it would be Russell Wilson for sure. Probably Matt Ryan, number 2, right there next to him. Of course, buddies. They've been buddies this year. I got Dak on here at number 1. I knew it would make you smile. So
absolutely.
He was 14 of 37, 38% completion percentage, a touchdown and a pick 6. And he had 15 interceptions on the season, which is like 33rd in the league. He was turning the ball over at a high clip, and he missed a few games too. So he shouldn't be leading the league in interceptions and missing 4 games. So that was disappointing to see, but
excuse me.
It seems like I said that Dallas should treat it as a tune-up game. That was, if you're a Dallas fan, you should not be too comfortable going into this first round
at all.
Second on here, I actually have the Cowboys running back duo too. Like, it was a bad game from the Cowboys, but
hey, I'm fine with that.
Combined with the Zeke and Pollard, it was 15 rushes for 29 yards, less than 2 yards a carry. It was a really bad showing against a Sam Howell-led Commanders team, and in a game where they could have positioned themselves a little bit better in the NFC in the playoffs and not have to face Brady in the first round. So
nasty.
It was a failure on all fronts for Dallas. Green Bay, we talked about a kind of a legacy game for Rodgers. I got Rodgers on here as not him. He had the worst season of his NFL career, which was still a decent season, but
still almost saved it.
Yeah, and it was a rough way to end it, throwing that pick in the fourth quarter.
That was the thing. They had chances, and they just kept coming up short. So whether it was guys jumping passes, which happened also, but also just some bad decision making on his side, or the play calling, however you want to decide it. Him or LaFleur, however you want to pick there. It just did not come together right. And then they blew a great opportunity versus the Lions, who almost tried to give them the game. There were a couple of times that they had in the bag and just kept falling short. So, Rodgers and the boys had to be mentioned for this right now.
And I feel like I can't fully blame his weapons. Like, I know he had a couple rookies at the receiving end, and they kind of struggled to find their footing, but then they really found something with Christian Watson. And he still had A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones there as well. Like, they still had pieces there. It just seemed like the offense was just sputtering at times, and Rodgers turned the ball over more than he has in a really long time.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to give him that out. I think it showed that he's kind of declined a little bit.
Yeah, for the last 7 weeks, they had figured it out some kind of way. And then this last game, they fell back to what we saw at the beginning, and it just, crumbled right before our eyes. So, oh well.
Yeah. And then last one here, you probably wouldn't expect this name, but I got Gabe Davis. He was one of the more overhyped wide receivers coming into this season, as he's going to stamp himself as a wide receiver 2 at the very least, be this big weapon for Buffalo. He's still a big deep ball threat, but he was very, very limited in a lot of games. He had less than 40 yards in 8 of 15 games. He had 48 catches on 93 targets. It just it wasn't a very impressive season. And I feel like coming off that 3 touchdown game against Kansas City, I think it was in the playoffs.
Pittsburgh.
In the playoffs last year.
Yeah, right.
You had people talking like this guy was going to have a huge breakout season, and it really didn't happen. And now it's like Diggs is the only weapon they can trust in that offense. So I threw him on here because he had another weak game in their final game of the season. I think he had 3 catches on 10 targets or something like that.
Nasty.
Touchdown. So yeah, I'm no hater of Gabe Davis, but I think he was a little bit overrated and
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with all those picks. Dak for sure is my number one on that list. So I'm fully in agreement with you there. I mean, Rodgers, of course, because of how that fell apart. Anyone wanted to throw in there too. I had to do it for the Ravens. Greg Roman, I wanted to mention yet again. The offense didn't look good, and not only that, because I know we didn't have Lamar. I didn't even fully watch the game, to be honest with you, because I saw with the writing on the wall early on. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. But I went and checked the box stats, whatever it's called, the box score.
Yeah.
Why on earth?
What? So you gonna say something about like Patrick Ricard or something?
Guess how many times Anthony Brown threw the ball on Sunday?
Oh, I think I saw it was like 40 something.
44 times.
Yeah.
Is Greg Roman high?
Hey, y'all were complaining about his passing offense. He said, "I'm gonna air it out."
Anthony Brown went 19 for 44. What are we doing?
Hey, Andrews and Isaiah Likely had good games.
Oh my God.
Y'all finally using Isaiah Likely like a more of a receiver, which you should.
I thought my computer glitched. I checked the stats. I'm like, that's not right. I checked ESPN. I checked Yahoo. I went and checked the Ravens official stat. I'm like, he threw the ball 44 times. There's no need for that. Run the ball. Oh my God.
Maybe they're just seeing what they got. It was week 18. There was a lot of performances that didn't really matter. You know, there's team sitting guys. So
I guess, but come on, man. So yeah, that makes no sense. It's not even fully a diss to Anthony Brown. It's more so, it's just like, I don't know why you even decide to call that many plays for him to begin with, knowing he's a third string guy that hasn't proven himself to be able to pass that much to begin with. So yeah, that completely threw me for a loop. So I had to mention him in that. Not that we needed the game, but it was just like, you can't do that either. So yeah, definitely had to be noted there. So yeah, but back to you. I agree that Dak and those guys for sure were our final not him guys of the season. I guess unofficially, do you have an unofficially but official? Do you have a not MVP of the season? Is it Russell still?
Oh yeah, it's definitely Russell.
Okay.
Wilson.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm fully in agreement there. So
I'm not giving him the washed stamp that I gave to Matt Ryan. I think he does have a little bit of juice left, but this season was pretty bad. So yeah,
the award is named after him until proven otherwise. I'm with you there. So going on to my things real quick, and then we'll bounce back to you for MVP. First off, best fits. Devontae Smith showed out yet again. He had a custom fedora that was real dope. They had like a six of diamonds card in there, and his hometown from I think New Orleans. I think he's from. That was real dope. A turtleneck and a jacket that all looked real nice. Your Black King Travis Kelce had a nice. I was like, put Black King on the note. Travis Kelce had a nice red Dolce & Gabbana jacket on, amongst other things that had a real nice pop this last weekend. And then Rams rookie Quentin Lake had a nice outfit on. It was like a blue sweater on top of a little suit type outfit that he had that all came together real nice. So salute to all of them. I guess the kind of what we just did. If I had an MVP, I guess Devontae actually his suits all year long were great, so he definitely is worthy of being on here. I mentioned Stephon Diggs was great all year long. Tyrod Taylor had some great ones all year as well. So those guys surely can be mentioned for the best fits of the year. So salute to them. Then moving on, best plays. As we mentioned at the top of the show, following the situation with DAMAR HAMLIN, the Bills were back on the field this last weekend. Nyheim Hines returned 2 kick returns, I believe, for touchdowns that were one was the opening kickoff, which just was open the floodgates in Buffalo with how impactful that was, and then another one late in the game as well. That was very impactful too. So yeah, salute to him and that team for showing out for their guy. And definitely love to see that from Nyheim Hines. Definitely was great there. This next one was a failed play technically because refs were hating and they called a flag on it. But the Chiefs did that ring around the rosy huddle thing and then popped back out and ran this double pass where they actually put, I think that was McKinnon under center, and they tossed it to Mahomes. Mahomes turned back and threw to Tony, and Kadarius Toney found his way into the end zone. They called a holding on that for some reason somewhere, but still, it was a wild play that folks were not happy about. The Raiders weren't happy about it. I saw some guy from the Broncos for some reason had some comment about it. Some Broncos lineman was like, I saw the Chiefs do this play this last week, and it really pissed me off. I was like, dude, you're on the Broncos. Like, we don't want to hear it. But anyways, yeah, it could have ruffled some feathers, but the Chiefs being the top dog that they are, when you're the team that they are like that, they get to do some things like that.
I like to get creative in the red zone and goal line. So
absolutely. And then I don't want to fully call it if not for MAHOMES in the situation, my player of the week would be the Texans and their last minute Hail Mary versus I think that was the Colts or whoever that was to win that game. And it wasn't only because they completed it. It was because Lovie Smith did that to kind of spite the Texans in the last efforts, knowing he was going to be fired the next day. So to knock them out of the number 1 pick in the draft. For those that may not know, I guess we'll do a small explanation. The draft is based on standings, and the teams with the least amount of wins automatically. It's not like in the NBA we have a lottery. Teams are automatically based on standings are slotted into certain spots in the draft. And the Texans were right neck and neck with the Bears as the Bears be the number 1 pick. And had they lost that game, would have got the number 1 pick as a result. But their head coach, who knew he was going to get fired, put the energy in the team's back to put out their best foot forward, and make sure that they win this game. And pull off a miracle at the end. Not only getting the Hail Mary, but right after that doing the 2-point conversion that iced the win for sure for them. So Lovie Smith pulling that off definitely deserved a note. So salute to him for walking out like that.
I was watching NFL Red Zone. It was like Scott Hansen. Every time they scored, it was like surprised that they were trying to like win the game because like everyone knew that they should get the first pick. But
they should know what that was with them. Pretty much announcing before the game Lovie was going to be fired. So yeah, I'm glad he glad he went out like that. So salute to him there. And then moving on, lastly for me, best celebrations. Hate to do it, but Joe Mixon and his coin flip. There was a note about the coin flip for the Bengals and Ravens. If the Ravens won, it'd be a coin flip to decide who gets home field. But because the Bengals won, they don't have to worry about that. But having news of that before the game, the Bengals weren't happy about the situation because they already were ahead in the standings. So to make fun of it, when Joe Mixon scored, he pulled a coin out of his glove and flipped it in the air before it landed. He kicked it in the end zone or somewhere. Kind of say F that decision, F that choice that the NFL made to do it that way. So excuse me. Yeah, salute to him and them for, I guess, kind of pushing back on that decision.
I think Ocho Cinco actually tweeted out like that he hoped someone did like his coin.
Right. So that was cool stuff there. Then more of a dedication type celebration. Rodney Thomas for the Colts. Caught interception versus the Texans in that game that we mentioned earlier.
Right.
After doing so, when he ran into the 30, and went and stood over the 3, and the whole team gathered around. He's a high school teammate of DAMAR HAMLIN, so he definitely felt a connection with all this stuff going on. So getting that interception for him definitely was a big moment, and dedicated to DAMAR by going and staying on the 3 afterwards. So 2 great things there. And I wanted to mention this too. It was on the opposite end, complete opposite. But did you see the play in the Packers game where the dude pushed the trainer?
Yeah. And then he got ejected.
I don't know what he was thinking, man.
Apparently it's not the first time he did it, too. He did it in an earlier game, either earlier this season or last year. He pushed like a coach of another team and got ejected, too. So it's like, what are you doing, man?
Sometimes guys can be very hot-headed.
Right.
Things of that nature. It is what it is. And when it comes out in great football play, it's great to see. But when it results in you doing dumb stuff on the field and you're pushing trainers, and I hate to say it, but in the moment where we just saw how important trainers are, like it just all of that, it was just horrible. It was a bad look. So he from the game after that. People have sadly memed him as he's walking into the locker room and stuff, very loudly crying and stuff, and throwing his helmet around and all kinds of things. It wasn't the best look. So yeah, definitely just a dumb move by him in that regard, and hopefully he bounces back next season for the Packers and those guys. As they try to rebuild there. So yeah.
Real quick, you want to like grab water or something? You good?
Yeah, real quick. Damn. I don't know where that came from. All right. But while I drink this water, sorry about that. While I drink this, tell me who's your MVP of Week 18.
I actually was going to give it to Nyheim Hines. I noted here, like, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, eye-popping numbers from this last final week of the season. There was a lot of guys sitting. A lot of teams that weren't playing for anything at this point had already been knocked out of playoff contention. A lot of backups playing. So there wasn't a whole lot of huge, like, dominant performances, but Nyheim Hines, as you mentioned, with the opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and then later in the game doing it again, that was incredible to see. And it's rare that you get one, but two in the same game was insane. And then the other guy I had on here was Kirby Joseph. He was the one who had the crucial interception of Aaron Rodgers to almost nearly like ice the game, and they ended it with their final offensive drive. But that was his third interception of Aaron Rodgers in this season alone, and it was a crucial one to lead to knocking them out of the playoffs. So salute to him. I believe he's a rookie actually too. So yeah, salute.
In the same kind of way, Quandre Diggs for the Seahawks saved the Seahawks season by intercepting Baker Mayfield in overtime versus the Rams in that overtime game.
Right.
He was the guy I wanted to mention for saving their season. Seahawks now in the playoff because of that. So yeah, salute to him for that.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was all I had for him. Zone. There was
no mention of Jamal Williams at all. He had 2 touchdowns in the game.
Salute to him. His post game conference was dope. Obviously, like emotional, and his tribute to his grandfather who just passed away. And then he flipped the switch real quick to.
He's like, don't get twisted though.
Yeah, so that was dope to see. He's a great personality for the NFL for sure.
Him. That was great. And then last guy I had to mention Sam Howell versus the Cowboys. Just want to tip the cap to him again. Just appreciate you for messing with the Cowboys into this season. That tune-up game, they say, hey, ain't tune-up over here. We still got things to fight for. So salute to him for that. As they just continue to fight. As they just messed up the end of the Cowboys season there. Right. So great things from them. So I guess to that point we've been doing. Do you have an official MVP of the year? Who would you pick for that?
That's a good question. Trying to think like who was on here a good amount. Because I don't want it to be just the MVP. MVP is, I think, obviously Mahomes for everyone, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Right. So, but
off top of the head, you mentioned Burrow a few times on here, I believe. So maybe it's Burrow.
Burrow, he got a couple mentions. Devontae Adams was on here a couple times. Jetta's Justin Jefferson a couple times. Fields, CMC. Josh earlier on in the year, but after he got hurt, it was kind of a downcline. There's I don't think there's a number one official stamped guy, but I'd say for sure Fields, Devontae Adams, Burrow, those three I think are stamped in it. Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
All right, I'm fine with that. I'll let you do that like that. That works out. So yeah, good stuff there. Excited. Love that we found the him zone this year. Great addition to the show. I'm definitely excited to continue that going forward and carry it over to NBA things and beyond. So good stuff all across the board there. And then lastly, I keep losing my voice. I don't know where it just came from. But anyways, last thing I wanted to go to, as you kind of just mentioned, are the awards for the season, our official ones.
Right.
Regular season is wrapped up, so we now can pick who our regular season MVP and things are. So I want to do that real quick, and then we'll do our picks and get out of here. So
for sure,
doing that now. Sorry, at the top, as you kind of already mentioned, who you have as your MVP of the regular season.
Yep. Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes with another dominant season at the QB position. We thought with Tyreek leaving, there might be a little bit of a hit to his numbers and the team's success, but they continued on rolling, and Mahomes is a big part of it. I mean, he's throwing to guys some of us have probably never heard of at times, and still getting the job done. So yeah, I think it has to be him. I think 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on the top of my head. He was sensational. 5,200 yards. Yeah. So
had Hurts stay healthy, I might have leaned his way because of what he did with that team. But because of injury he had for a couple of weeks, I'm seeing what Mahomes did in that time as well. Yeah, I for sure lean Mahomes too. So yeah, great stuff there. And now I actually want to go to Coach of the Year. Who do you have as Coach of the Year? I think that's the most debated one, to be honest.
Yeah. three guys that I could see in the running for it. Sirianni actually fell a little bit off to me. He's the fourth one for me. Third, I have Doug Peterson.
Real quick, to your point, I saw a lot of folks that are having this conversation and still had Sirianni in there. Okay. But I'm like, they lost, I think, both them games without Hurts.
Right.
So I think that should have knocked him out of the race, but they still weren't giving his credit. But no, to me, he's not it. So yeah, go ahead.
I agree. He's still up there. Like I said, I'd still have him fourth probably, but these couple guys jumped over him with how their teams played in the season. Doug Peterson got his team in the playoffs after kind of a roller coaster of a season and a young team, but he led them to a playoff berth. Second, I got Brian Daboll. I think first-year coach bringing the Giants to a playoff game was sensational. A lot of people probably had them at like 5-6 wins maybe going into the season. Yeah. So for them to make the playoffs, that was huge for them, and he was huge. They had very limited weapons for Daniel Jones out there, and were still able to put together wins. And then number one, I got Kyle Shanahan with him coaching through 3 different quarterbacks and still getting a highly successful season out of them. Getting a good play out of each of them, and none of them are really elite guys at this point. We'll see with Trey Lance, but they're all kind of game manager type guys, and with the running game and the elite defense, they're able to put together a top 2 finish in the conference. So yeah, I think I would have to give it to Kyle Shanahan this year.
Dang, I keep losing my mind over here.
Losing your voice?
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what just hit me. I'm fighting for my life over here. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. My bad. Oh.
You're good.
What the hell? Okay, so man. I agree that Shanahan was it because of bouncing other quarterbacks, throwing their last 10 games, look dominate the whole way through. What the
fuck? Someone put a curse on you.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Oh my God, it's like going in and out of a sudden.
You've been slandering in and out. Maybe it was
oh my God, all that hating is catching up to me, I guess. Oh gosh, but yeah, I agree that Shanahan's it with what he's doing with that team. He still looked dominant all year long. I look like a child favorite still. So I'm all for that pick and agree with you there. Moving on.
Keep it concise if you need to.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm cutting it down, as you can tell. Yeah. Moving on. Offensive player of the year. Who you got for your offensive player of the year?
I got Justin Jefferson. He was the pick going into the season. I kind of didn't want to pick him just because everyone was saying it. It seemed obvious, but
yeah,
he did what most of us thought he was going to do with Kevin O'Connell coming in there as the head coach after his success with Cooper Kupp and the Rams. He had a dominant season, I believe 1,800 yards receiving. And yeah, I think he was the clear best receiver in the league by the end of week 18. I think you can stamp it that he was the best this year. Tyreek was great. Stephon Diggs was great as well. Devontae Adams was great, even though the team was bad. But I think you'd have to stamp it as Justin Jefferson was the best wide receiver this year.
He had the best performance. I agree. I'm fine with that. Yeah, and I think that that Bills game stamped it. Seeing what he did against them for sure. Even though he had some blunders after that, I think still got him the award. So I'm agreeing with you there. Any other names that were close?
Close. CMC. CMC, I think, had close to 1,800 yards combined between rushing and receiving himself. Yeah. He had a bounce back year where a lot of people were concerned about his injury history. He was one of the better running backs in the league. And the trade, while it maybe didn't like skyrocket their expectations because the 49ers were already going to be in the hunt, I think it solidified them as a true contender. And so, yeah, I got him. I think Derrick Henry is probably like a distant, probably at like 5th or so. There was one other person I'm blanking on who was in that discussion. blanking. I think it was another receiver. But yeah, I think Justin Jefferson was the clear winner for this award, though. Oh, there was a couple of quarterbacks that they had in the betting odds, like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts as well. But I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't give it to one of them. I think Josh his numbers fell off after the injury, and then Hurts obviously got injured at the end of the season as well too.
Yeah, I agree. So just want to see who else was in there, but good stuff there. Again, agree that it was Jetta. Moving on, opposite side, defensive player of the year. Who you got on defensive side?
Yeah, I got Nick Bosa. I think he's the most disruptive player on the best defense in the league, and another dominant performance for him. He's always in the argument for one of the better defensive players in the league. I think earlier on in the season, I had the guy that you're gonna pick probably, but their defense kind of fell off a bit, and it wasn't necessarily Micah's fault. It was more so the secondary. But yeah, I think Nick Bosa was the best player on the best defense, and is arguably one of the better defenders in the league in his own right. So
I'm totally fine with that because I've given all my praise to the Niners and what they've done over there. So
even though he's mad.
Yeah. We'll ignore that part. We ain't gotta say that part. But anyways, beyond that, someone who jokingly might. No, I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, we saw them tweets. But anyways,
Micah Parsons, dude.
Yeah, Micah Parsons. I got him as my guy still. Even in the fall off, as you said, it was kind of blunders all around him, but he still seemed to put up great performances by himself. So because of what we saw from him, he still seemed like he was one of the best players in football, even with regards of how guys were playing around him there. So yeah, I still say he gets the award there. Yeah, it could go either way. I'm not mad at either way it goes. So good stuff there. Moving on, interesting one. Almost rookie of the year. Who you got on the offensive side?
I got Kenneth Walker. Actually, I think he stepped in and had a really solid season. 1,050 yards, 9 touchdowns. He stepped right in and played like a vet as soon as he got the number 1 RB spot for Seattle. Helped get them to a playoff berth that another team we thought was going to be low single-digit wins. And I think he was a big part of their team success, getting them to the playoffs. Second probably would be Olave for me. He was really good for a large stretch of the season, but kind of fell off in the second half.
I almost thought he wasn't a rookie. I'm like, wait, he's a rookie? Dude, he's so stamped already. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then there's a couple QBs in there as well, but I wouldn't.
Garrett Wilson, you have him in the mix.
I would probably have him third, fourth. Yeah, he's right up there for sure. I think some of the odds had Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy pretty high. Brock Purdy was maybe third or fourth in the odds for it. I think he didn't really play long enough for me to give him that.
Purdy didn't he play? How many games did he play?
I think he started 6 games.
I thought it was more than that, but even still, even in those 6, he looked good.
He looked good.
He looked great all the way through. So
I think he's also a product of a great system as well.
There's a lot of steps into his game, so that's fine too. But I think even still, he did what he needed to do, and they definitely appreciate that. So I actually picked him because of that.
So you picked Purdy?
Squad. Yeah, I picked Purdy
okay.
as the guy still. That and because even as good as Walker was, he did have some blunders that didn't fully separate him from the pack in my eyes. If anything, Garrett Wilson was second because he actually looked dominant when he had somebody that can get him the ball properly.
Yeah.
He didn't look good all the time because he didn't have the quarterback play enough to produce that. Right. But when guys could give him the ball as he needed to get the ball, he definitely showed out. So he was up there. Olave, who I didn't even realize was a rookie still. Olave showed he was in the mix there, and then Purdy was there. I had Walker fourth. So you can intertwine those 3. I ended up actually picking Purdy because of how good he looked, I guess, as a result of his team as well. But yeah, any of that mix surely is deserving. So great things there. And on the flip side, I hope we're on the same page for this one. Defensive Rookie of the Year, who you got from the defensive side?
Gotta be Sauce. One of
Gotta be
one of the
Sauce.
few picks preseason that I got right.
Mhm.
Or defensive rookie of the year. Sauce was kind of like a shutdown corner almost, like as a
No, he
rookie.
was. He
Yeah.
was.
Teams tried to avoid throwing to his side as much, and that's a stamp of how good you are at your position as a cornerback. Yeah, I think he was between him, like Patrick Surtain, Diggs, and like Slay, like, some of the best corners in the league, and he's a rookie, so I got to give it to Sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fully agreeing there. Love what he did this year, and excited for what's going to go on next with the Jets there. So good stuff there. And then lastly, who's your comeback player of the year?
My comeback player of the year was Geno. Like I said, the Seahawks, I think a lot of our expectations were that they'd be a bottom of the league team. Geno, it was a discussion whether Geno or wow, I'm blanking on white boy's name now.
Saquon? Oh,
no. The QB.
Oh my God.
QB from Denver.
Drew Lock.
Yeah. It was a discussion
Jesus
whether
Christ.
Drew Lock or Geno Smith would start, and a lot of people were thinking Drew was going to be the starter, but
right.
Pete Carroll said no, it's going to be Geno. He earned the job, and we were like, okay. I mean, we've seen what Geno has done in previous years. It's not going to be anything special, and joke was on us because he turned in like a top 6 QB year this year. Yeah, he started off the season with they rolled me off, but I didn't write back, and he continued to drop one-liners and bars like that, but he continued to drop really good QB performances throughout the year and got them into the playoffs. And I believe the run ends here because they're going to play the 49ers, but I think he can still make it a competitive game. And yeah, a lot of respect to him because he truly was written off as a bad backup at best, and he turned in a really great QB season.
Yeah, I'm full agreement. So I definitely want to have to him for his turnaround and what he's done with his career. So good stuff there. I love all the award picks there. Interested to see what folks say in the comments about all of that going forward. And yeah, good stuff with all of that. So
say quickly too, Saquon was my second pick.
Right, I was with you there. Yeah, we're on the same page. So good stuff with all of that. I'm looking forward to how things actually play out. We'll see who the NFL actually awards those honors to. So yeah, good stuff there. Now we're going to our last things. What I wanted to do, instead of going through a full bracket, I'm going to pull up the bracket. Okay. But what I wanted to do is just pick our Super Bowl favorite, our Super Bowl pick this year. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Here's the bracket for this year. Here's how things are going to be playing out. Can I close this? Nope, don't want to do that. And close it out the way. Okay.
I saw online that people were saying that if the Giants were to win, then like the bracket kind of changes because of the seeding or something.
Right. The lower seed plays the top seed. So if the Giants win, they play the Eagles.
Okay.
But if the Vikings win, they play the Niners I believe.
Okay. I see. Got it.
So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But it should be good across the board. We'll get into our quick picks after this. But just for Super Bowl, who can you see? I guess we'll kind of do it, I guess, in the same way. But who you have as your Super Bowl picks coming up from each conference?
Yeah. It comes down to an AFC championship between Cincinnati and Kansas City, I believe. But typically, I would say it's hard for a team to beat a team 3 times in a season, or it hasn't. They've only played them once, I believe, this year. But Burrow has dominated the last couple times he's played, and so I would typically say it's hard to win a 3rd time. But I think the Kansas City defense really truly does have holes. That's really the number 1 hole in this Kansas City team. So I think Cincinnati will be able to edge them out. So I got them coming out of the AFC. And then I think it's going to come down to Niners and Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And I give the Niners a slight edge. I've called the Eagles frauds. I don't really think they're truly frauds. I just think they played a weak schedule. But they are a good team. But I think I like the 49ers just a little bit more, defensively especially. And we've sung Purdy's praises and Shanahan's praises. So yeah. You have a comment there?
I agree about the Niners. I see them getting all the way through, and they are my pick, at least for the NFC. Nah, for the AFC, I honestly can see a path for like 4, maybe even 5 teams over there.
I see it for 3 teams at most.
I see a path for sure for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I see a path for the Bengals.
Yeah.
I see a path potential for the Bills if they can roll.
That's where it ends for me.
It should end there. Excuse me. Here we go again.
Your cough not letting you get this bullshit out. That's
right. Man, something like that. What was I gonna say? I also was just thinking, seeing how we didn't expect the Bengals to make the run that they did last year, what team could be the Bengals? And to your point about the Chiefs' defense not being great, either one of those teams,
Jacksonville
Chargers or Jacksonville, I think will put up a really good fight against the Chiefs and could upset them. And then from there, anything's kind of possible. I know the Bengals have a solid defense as well and are a pretty high-powered team across the board. But as we've seen in the past, when the playoffs, games can change in an instant, and the ball really is up for grabs for either squad. So I see paths potentially for 4 or 5 squads there. And if I want to be a homer, I can make up a path for the Ravens too if I wanted to. But we already talked about that, so I won't go too far.
I think the only reason I would disagree with that for the Chargers or Jaguars is if it were to come down to a close game with Kansas City, I'm definitely favoring Kansas City in a late game situation. I'm favoring Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kelsey over Staley-led team. I like Peterson, but Trevor Lawrence still a young QB, and it's a young team, so I would lean them in a close game.
I'm totally fine with that. I guess to my point, though, we said the same thing with the Bengals last year. We said that they are a year away and that they wouldn't catch this Chiefs squad off guard like that, and that they have all this, and then the Chiefs went and do what they did. So just saying that because of the possibility that it's there, I do want to at least acknowledge that with them, and don't think they're just going to be a quick one and done. They're going to put up a fight in that second game, whichever one of them gets out. So yeah, I just saying I see paths for anyone there. But to give an official stamp, I guess I will you already said Bengals, so I didn't want to say Bengals again, but I think because there's no other offense and defense that I trust.
Bengals and Chiefs got guys that I trust. That's the real main thing.
No, I'm saying offense and defense. Offense, Chiefs, yes, but defense, no.
Right.
Bengals offense and defense, I think I could trust all the way through.
Yep.
Buffalo, I actually don't trust the offense over there.
Yeah, it's a little bit limited after Diggs.
And not even that. I say what I've said about Josh Allen all year long. Like, he just gets
they're gonna carve up Miami. But I think
sure. But just saying, I'm not as quick to stamp Josh Allen as y'all have been. I
wasn't quick to stamp him either. All last year, I was like, "Are we sure about Josh Allen?"
Yeah, he made a run and that was great.
Yeah.
But I still don't even say he's top 2 to me. I think Burrow already is top 2 in my opinion.
I'm fine with him being 3.
Yeah, but anyways, so because I don't trust either side of the ball fully over there, which is a knock to them because they should be contenders, even with the injuries and all that. I understand, but they should be contenders. But I don't trust them to stamp them like that. I guess I'm gonna go Bengals, Niners as well.
Yeah.
But as we always see, it's never that obvious.
Yeah, it usually is.
And I'm trying to figure out where the wrench is gonna be, and I can't figure it out. The only thing that I could see.
Listen, I got a couple upsets in the NFC, but not once we get to championship games.
As do I. I think I already know where those are going to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But just trying to project all the way through.
Defense wins championships. Like, it's almost every single year.
So across the board, what defense do you trust on here?
I trust the Bengals defense the most of any of those AFC defenses, and I trust the Niners defense the most of any NFC.
But I'm saying, who else? What other defense do you trust on there?
What other defense of the AFC?
On both sides, what defenses beyond those two? We already identified those two.
Oh, okay.
Are there any other defenses you trust on the board?
I don't trust Dallas anymore because of their secondary. Eagles would probably be the third after the Niners and the Bengals. And then the fourth would probably be Buffalo. Yeah, the fourth would probably be Buffalo. Baltimore is in there too, but their offense is the worst of any team probably. So
yeah, I have a longer run for the Ravens if they weren't playing the Bengals in the first round.
Right.
If they were in any other spot, I could make a path for them. But playing the Bengals, I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's a tough draw.
Yeah. So I guess we're both going to say Bengals, Niners right now. Oh, am I there?
Yep.
Oh, my. Okay. I'm going to say Bengals, Niners right now. And I guess to reveal one of my quick picks, my
or I guess we should say who our winner would be too, right?
Oh, well, I say Niners in that.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Bengals in that.
Okay, so that's where we're different. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think just because I think that's where the Purdy magic kind of ends. Getting through the Eagles already is going to be a tough one with Purdy at QB, but that's where it comes to like the guys I trust more a little bit. Like the Niners had that shot against the Chiefs with Jimmy Garoppolo, and it came down to him not making a couple of those throws in late game situations. I could see a similar situation there.
Got it.
And the Bengals just came to the Super Bowl, and they're going to be hungry to actually win it. So I think I would slightly lean Bengals there.
Okay.
You want to do quick picks or?
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, and then we'll leave it at that. So we'll see how the Super Bowl plays out. I'm excited for all of it. And we'll just leave this up and do our quick picks real quick and go from there. Can I close on here though? Yeah, okay. So as we see, Saturday, Seahawks at Niners. Who you got there? Or actually, let me reset. Wild card weekend, quick picks. We're here, excited for the playoffs, excited to be back and jumping into it. Can I pull this up real quick? Yeah. Okay. So Wild card weekend, quick picks. Starting off Saturday, Seahawks at Niners. Who you got there?
I have the Niners. I think it could be a slightly competitive game. I think Seahawks put up a bit of a fight, but that defense is relentless from San Francisco, and they've got their offensive system working. They got CMC trending it out back there, Purdy making the throws he needs to make at this point, and they're simplifying the offense for him, and it's working. So I think San Francisco wins this game.
I think it goes. Yeah, I got the Niners as well. I think it was the same as it went in their last matchup. I think it was on a Monday night. I think it was. The Seahawks had plenty of opportunities to win that game, but the defense just kept shutting them down.
That defense.
I think that's how it's going to go again. So defense is rolling, and I think they'll do enough, and the offense will just add on to it as needed. So I think the Niners get that done. I'll ask this, and this is kind of a future question, but I want to hear your opinion on it. Trey Lance is still the franchise QB for the Niners, yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's up for discussion. Like he's played how many games in the league now? I don't think we have a sample size to really declare one way or another. He still looked a little bit raw the last time.
I mean, it's as much as that is about his sample size, it's also about what else we see from Purdy. So I guess that's more so what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't think Purdy is a franchise guy. So just for what they have now, I guess if Purdy wins them a Super Bowl, then Lance probably will be the backup. But I think at this point, they're probably going to want to start Trey Lance. if he's healthy to play by week 1, I think they would be going forward with Trey Lance.
If the goal is win a Super Bowl, Purdy gets you a Super Bowl, and then you somehow say he's not good enough. Like good enough for what?
If he wins a Super Bowl, he has to start. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that's gonna be very interesting. That's too far forward looking, but I was just thinking of him throughout this process as they continue to carry on as they have. So we'll see how they handle that. Right now, I say no because they see that they don't really necessarily need an X factor quarterback like Trey Lance could be. They need more of a system guy that just comes in and can be the rest of their piece that they have already established elsewhere. So yeah, I say they lean more towards Purdy in that, which is crazy, but salute to him for what he's done there. Moving on with our quick picks, Chargers at Jags on Saturday. Who you got there?
This one is tough. It like comes down to like the coaching aspect. I like Peterson more than I like Staley. Chargers are a little bit more of a veteran team though. So like I worry about Jacksonville late in the game a bit, but Trevor Lawrence has been great at QB the back half of the season. And the Chargers defense at times has been kind of porous. It's tough. This is probably the hardest one for me of all the matchups.
You ready for this? It wasn't for me. I got the Jags.
Really?
I like Peterson way more than I like Staley. I like Lawrence more than Herbert. And they've close games between both these squads, not playing each other, but between just individually. And the Chargers have struggled in close games at times, and they have escaped some. We've also seen the Jags find ways to win games that they shouldn't have. So seeing how they've been able to pull out wins at times, and understanding that the blunders that the Chargers have had at times, I think this is a close game that Peterson is going to know what to do and get this team in the right position to make plays. We've seen the offense win games. We've seen the defense win games. We saw the defense just beat the Cowboys a week or two ago. So we've seen both sides of the ball step up when needed, and I think they'll do it yet again against this Chargers squad at home as well.
Yeah. I did see, actually, I checked after, the line is Chargers -2. So the Chargers are favored, even though it is in Jacksonville.
I got the Jags in that one.
I think I'm going to go with the Chargers, beating the narrative that they always come up short in these games that they need to win. They finally got it to the playoffs. I think they're hungry, too, in a way. They're not as talented as some other teams, but I think they'll win this one. So I'll go with the Chargers.
Okay, we'll see how that plays out. I don't know how that's going to work, but they'll find their way. And to that point, I'll ask this real quick: is Staley out if they lose this game?
Like we talked about earlier, if it's an embarrassing loss, I think that it's possible. But I think getting to the playoffs helps his case for holding on to the job. Them getting healthy and then performing once they were healthy, and then getting to the playoffs. I think that buys him some time. So I will say no, because I believe they win this game too. So I'll say no.
Got it. I say they have to take a serious look, because I know Sean Payton might be looking around trying to find the right spot, and LA surely is a nice place to be. So if that name keeps calling, then they have to take seriously.
You maybe fire him if you know that Sean Payton wants to sign there, but if it's not a guarantee that you're going to get Sean Payton, I don't think you fire coach that just got you to the playoffs finally.
Got it.
Not knowing who's going to replace him. So,
we shall see. Hopefully, for your sake, it doesn't happen. But yeah, good stuff there. Moving on to Sunday, Dolphins at Bills. Who you got in that one?
Yeah, a Tua-less Dolphins has no shot with Skylar Thompson or Bridgewater. I got the Bills comfortably in this one. Not really much of a debate for me.
Yeah, I got the Bills as well. We've had this question a few times now, and things have continued to change with various situations going on with this team. Is it Super Bowl or bust still for the Bills?
I think they still have to feel that way. Yeah. So yeah.
That just caught me off guard, because I was just saying yes the whole time. You said no because of all the things going on. So I thought you'd say no.
I didn't say no. I said I felt like they can't win the Super Bowl now, like with the injuries.
I guess those are two different things. So okay, then yeah, we're on the same page then. So yeah, it's Super Bowl or bust for them. So I think it's going to happen. No, but they should have that mentality, and we'll see what comes of it. So yeah, interesting things there. Moving on, Giants at Vikings. Who you got in that one?
So going into this, obviously, if you listen to the show, you know I've been saying Minnesota is fraudulent since like week 2 or 3. I think I did say the Giants and like the Seahawks would be the two matchups I could see them winning potentially, but because of how fraudulent they are, because of how bad that defense is from Minnesota, I think the Giants have a legitimate shot to win this game. I think Daniel Jones has been underrated with what he's doing with a very limited cast around him. I think Isaiah Hodgins is like his wide receiver one at this point now. Saquon, I think, is going to be able to do his thing. I think it's a close game. I think the Giants win it, though.
I agree with you. And as I've been saying all year long, home games with the Vikings are not home games with the Vikings. They're home games with the other team. Yeah. And I think the Giants being able to go into that dome in Minnesota and being able to run the ball as they want to do as much as they want and pass at least just a little bit, as well as that defense being able to impose its will. And once you shut down Justin Jefferson, even though they have talent elsewhere, there for some reason don't do the best at utilizing those other guys if Jetta is shut down as well. So to what the defense can't do for New York, talking about how good we have just praised about Brian Daboll being up there as close to the year potentially. I think he finds a way against this, as you said, fraudulent, very fraudulent Minnesota team. So I'm going to agree with you there until the Giants actually find a way to get a win here.
You know I don't trust Captain Mid in a primetime game.
That's fine with me. That's fine with me. So next here, we already answered a few times now, but Bengals at Ravens. Who you got Sunday night?
Yeah, I do have the Bengals. I think if Lamar plays, that makes it interesting. But you're the Ravens insider, and you said he's probably not going to play. So yeah, I got Cincinnati here. They're the better team, really, in pretty much all phases. I think Baltimore's defense is slightly better, but yeah, I think Cincinnati should win this game. What? What do you just had Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, so what are you gonna?
Like I agree, but it just annoys. Just annoying. That's all. It's annoying. So yeah, I'm not even gonna say it, but yeah, yeah. So we'll see how we'll see how that goes. To that point, as I mentioned earlier, are you buying this new rivalry brewing between the two teams?
No, I think you guys still hate the Steelers more than you hate the Bengals.
Correct. It's like the little brother kind of poking at you. It's like, all right, bro, like you leave us alone. Like go somewhere. We ain't trying to hear you right now. So they're having a little moment, which is cool, but beyond that, I ain't gonna be serious over here. So years from now, if they keep on winning, then we'll take it seriously. But right now, ain't nothing too crazy.
Hey, but little brother starting to win the one-on-one matchups. You can't beat them in one-on-one anymore.
Hey, it happens every once in a while. It happens, but we know how to get back. So yeah, excited to see how this continues to grow. Going forward. So good stuff there. And then lastly, we can get out of here. Cowboys at Bucks on Monday night. Who you got in that one?
Yeah. I guess Tampa Bay is the higher seed, but I think it's the upset them winning this game, and I'm going to take the upset with Tampa Bay only because Cowboys defense has been kind of poor the last few weeks, and we said Cowboys should make it a tune-up game against Washington. They did not do that. Dak continued to turn the ball over and really had a horrible game. I know Commanders have a solid defense, but Tampa Bay also isn't really a slouch in the defensive department either. Really, they've struggled offensively, and they've kind of put it together a little bit to end the season. I trust Brady more than I trust Dak in a close game. Yeah, I think he's found some chemistry with Evans and Godwin once again. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay wins this in a close one.
Does the fact that the Bucks already beat the Cowboys once this year change anything to you?
Not really. Not really. And
Okay.
when was that? Was that when they had Cooper Rush?
That was week 1. That was opening night.
Oh, that was week 1. That was a bad game from Dak, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't change it.
Yeah, because I was going to find a way to say Cowboys, but I just have no faith in that squad. And in a way, both these squads are kind of bad right now.
Mhm.
So the question is, what team can turn the switch on more in this game? And sadly, I think Tom Brady can much more than Dak can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Tom Brady and these boys find a way to salvage the season by upsetting this Cowboys squad at home on Monday night. So yeah, it's I was gonna be mad either way, but I guess I have to go with Tom in this one. There was one time, so
I don't think he goes farther than that though. So
yeah, same here. So good stuff there though. Very excited for the playoffs. Gonna be a lot of fun times ahead. I'm glad we got to make all our picks. Sorry for all the coughing and stuff. I don't know what came over me just now. I was good for like 40 minutes, and then I got smacked by something. So I'll handle that. And we'll be good going forward. Let me close this out real quick. So yeah, good stuff coming up for us all. We're going to get more into NBA things going forward. As we said, the season's really gearing up. Guys are going crazy all across the league. This is some of the best scoring we've seen ever in the league. So definitely want to cover that more and talk about what's going on across the land there. Yeah, excited to continue to build on things. So fun things ahead. Still some improvements we want to continue to make. As we said, we're here in season 3 still and want to continue to build the show going forward. So stay tuned for things that we continue to build on that. And yeah, just excited for all the things underway. So like, review, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. Stay tuned. We're going to have guests on. Like we said, we want to have Jake on before the Javante fight and things of that nature. So we got to keep you guys in the loop as we have things going forward. And yeah, excited for what's to come. So good stuff everywhere. Show love where you show love. We'll see you guys in the comments and things online. And yeah, any last word, Alec?
No, looking forward to these playoff games. Last year, first couple rounds were sensational for NFL playoffs. So hopefully it's a similar thing this year and get a couple upsets like we predicted.
Right. So good stuff ahead and yeah, excited for it all. So appreciate the opportunity back into us. Excited to get these things back rolling consistently. I'll try to work through all the bugs that we had before. And yeah, excited to be back. So appreciate the opportunity back in. We'll see y'all soon, man. Peace.
Deuces.